that whole concept of community campaign for us really starts in the fall. And this year is just different. But we tried to make sure it wouldn't be different for the community campaign, and that was really important to us. We're dealing with a lot of competing issues, whether it's the pandemic or social unrest and police reform and the fires that we experienced here through the summer, the economic challenges that we have both for our small businesses and our city budget. It's just a really, really challenging time. And so anytime we can find an opportunity to just bring some levity to an already really heavy profession, I think is important. I think we should all be proud of the fact that even during this difficult time, we've still found our charitable spirit. And I think that's really important. Whether it's the community campaign, whether it's the fact that we deliver meals on Thanksgiving morning to veterans that are struggling right now. I mean, those are the things that remind us that underneath the bulletproof vest, underneath the blue uniform, there's a human being that cares. And that's what I want people to know, is that there's a lot of care and a lot of compassion in the human beings that happen to be a part of this organization.
I guess there were no real set rules about who to vote for or what the criteria for voting is, but we have a little voting box, and anybody at EPD can come in, take a look, write down the number of their favorite painting, and put their vote in the box.
After seeing some of the detail and technique on some of the other ones, mine's probably in the bottom half, but like right about the middle.
I just love how all of them are the same but different.
Yeah, I mean, we all did the same video, but everyone has their own interpretations of what they think the trees should look like.
I feel pretty good. I would say comfortably that I'm in the top 5, but there are definitely 1 or 2 that are much better than mine, one of which is my wife's, who also entered and painted alongside me in our living room.
I really enjoy the arts, but my painting ability is not so good. But I had a really fun time.
I sketch a lot. I'll draw on the whiteboard a lot, and I'm not a painter, I'm a sketcher, so.
The winner gets, so far we know, a mystery prize, as well as their painting immortalized in the records office, which would go hand in hand with the bragging rights that I would like.
There's different challenges every day that you can't account for, and you just, it's just really all about flexibility in your life, in your work life. That's all very important.
Sometimes there's a black and white policy, and sometimes there's a whole bunch of gray area that you have to try and work through to find out what's going to be best for your callers and for the officers and firefighters that we're working with.
But that's what's so great about working here, is there's so many people in the room where if you don't know something, we can all work together as a team and figure out the best way to handle something.
Some of their larger scale incidents can be more challenging to deal with in the moment, but everybody has things that they find personally challenging based on their own experiences.
Everybody wants you to succeed, and they're going to do everything they can to do that. And so you really just have to open yourself up and just understand that in the beginning you're not going to be the best, but as long as you keep trying and you just persevere through every hit you take, you'll make it there in the end.
You could be doing CPR on someone with their loved one, and so you really have to transition from that one type of call to another type of call and sound the same. And then when you're finished, you go back and you're talking to that person again who has no idea what you just helped with or experienced.
I had a call last week that was difficult for me, and it hit me that night, and then the next day I was okay, and about 3 days later I had another one of those like, oh my gosh, I had to deal with that moments, and that can be hard. That's why our peer support team is helpful.
None of us individually are as good as all of us collectively, and so it's really special to be a part of that in big incidents and in small incidents.
But sometimes you have those really great calls where you help deliver a baby, and like before you're even off the phone, you're like, this is the greatest job ever. It can be emotionally overwhelming in so many ways, but it's absolutely the greatest job in the world.
it's empowering to know that I'm capable of doing so much, even though I might have doubted myself in the past of being capable of such things. But working this job, it really makes me feel like I'm making an impact in the world.
Every time I hit the button and answer the phone, it could be somebody who's just fallen and needs help up, or it could be the chance to save somebody's life and to change somebody's story.
It's one of the greatest privileges that we have, is to be able to be those first people that you reach out to when you need help. It's really, really rewarding career.
So the Huckleberry team goes out one time a week during the summer months. We locate, photograph, and document graffiti, and then we try to eliminate it.
We were out here last spring and did some volunteer work with the Huckleberry Patrol as well, just cleaning up dumpsters and telephone poles and other community service or other community-owned things that were tagged.
Do we just toss this in here?
Yeah, there should be a plastic bag for that stuff.
Our president has a good contact with the police already in the volunteer work, so we've been doing this for the past couple of years, and it's been like a continuous, steady thing that we keep within our guys.
Yeah, I think that's what we can document now.
We just try to do our best to clean it up whenever we can and make an impact on the community. So, we got some good weather today. The rain has parted, so decided to take a chance and get out here and do some work.
I was really impressed because when we went out with them, we showed them what to do and how to do it, and after that we just stood back and let them go, and they got right after it.
We plan on doing it way more this year. It's a very good thing and a good feeling to clean up the city we live in.
There are times, unfortunately, where a single person trying to de-escalate a situation, a crisis situation, just isn't enough. And where C&T comes in is we bring in a team of people with specialized training, specialized equipment, and specialized tactics to try and work through that problem as a team.
When you get a page, your heart sinks a little bit because it's shocking. The sound is really loud. But then you kind of look at it and you're like, okay. How can I best help? Where do I need to go? Educating myself on the events, doing my research, start documenting things and providing information.
These are low frequency, high pressure events where you don't call SWAT or crisis negotiation out for no reason. It's kind of the end of the rope for patrol, that they need specialized assistance. So we're that specialized team for these types of incidents.
One of the things C&T does is when we get a peaceful resolution, not only are we getting a peaceful resolution for the person in crisis, we're getting a peaceful resolution for our coworkers and our other officers that are out on scene.
I love helping people, and I love helping keep people safe. Yeah, everyone on our team has a unique skill set. I think that being able to have the freedom to use our skills to our best ability is really rewarding.
This is a dedicated, high stress position. I like that, and I seem to focus under pressure personally.
And a lot of times these folks that are in crisis that we're working with, the reason they're in crisis is because they feel like they've never been listened to. They've never had a voice, and they need someone to not just hear them, but actually listen and try and understand and build that empathy.
When I arrived here in Eugene and found out that there was a newly formed foundation, I was so excited about the opportunity and the possibilities of how that relationship could not only support the Eugene Police Department, but support us as we try to deliver services in this community.
One of the many amazing things that I get to do here at EPD is I get an opportunity to work with our Eugene Police Foundation. It's a privilege to be able to do so. They are a group of individuals that were formed a few years ago that are able to help provide some services to EPD and to help support our officers in our community, help with funding certain projects within the department that might not otherwise get funded.
Things like our canine program, things like our drone program, things that we would not ordinarily be able to afford to do without having to not do something else, allows us to keep our level of service where it is and then add to that and to enhance that service through the work of the Eugene Police Foundation.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It makes a world of difference to our officers. Some of the stuff that the foundation has been able to fund for us go a long way in keeping our community safe as well as our officers safe. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It makes all the difference in the world.
From my heart and from the heart of this organization, it is a sincere thank you to the people that are willing to give to the foundation, and sincerest thanks to the foundation members that donate their time and their energy and their effort to not only do the outreach and the fundraising, but to be connected with us and be in relationship with us so they better understand what the unique needs of this organization are. We can't do it without them. We can't do it without you and each and every one of you that donate. And it's just a relationship that is going to be so important to us as we move forward during this year of 2021 and into the future.
Eugene Police and Fire, how can I help you?
This is Papa Wheelie. I just had my bike stolen.
Okay, did this happen in the city of Eugene?
Yeah, I'm at the Owen Rose Garden. I stopped to smell the roses. Next thing I know, some girl was riding off with it.
No! Okay, so what you can do is if you go online to eugenepolice.com, there's a link there for report a crime. Just go ahead and click that, and it'll ask you for some information. If you have the serial number and just a basic description of what happened, go ahead and enter it there. An officer will get back in touch with you, and you can complete your report online.
Lieutenant, it's another online bike theft report.
That's the 10th one this week. This has got to stop.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
We need to get the word out about bike registration, proper locking techniques, not leaving our bikes unattended. We need to get the word out about U-locks. To keep your bike safe and secure, you can expect to pay over $40 for quality hardened steel U-lock like this one here. They're especially effective when combined with a cable lock like this one here. Sarah, can you pass me through to the Eugene Police Community Engagement Team?
Looks like the bike might have been left here overnight.
From the looks of the damage, it appears a tool was used to defeat the lock.
I hope they kept a record of the model, color, and serial number and reported it to coplogic.com.
I hope so. I hope so.
I need help.
Hi, stranger. Looks like you're having difficulty locking your bike. The first thing we want to think about is not just securing the front of the bicycle, but looking at the rear triangle. So we want to put the bicycle here. This is going to secure the front, and we're going to put this through the rear of the bicycle. We have a quick release on the front, so this can be easily stolen. So we're going to loop this around to the lock, and then our bike will be secured.
I appreciate your help. Who are you?
Blonde. They call me Jeff Blonde.
321 in service.
It's unsettling, really, the impact on our sense of normal, the absent sights and sounds we take for granted every day that invite apprehension, uncertainty, and feelings of anxiety. Empty streets and closed businesses, city buses without riders, silent playgrounds and schools, the hum of human activity that isn't there. It should be. Quiet ball fields, public parks, and even empty houses of worship, void of people in the most uncommon of ways. Yet in these uncertain and challenging times, we find hope and encouragement in the heroes who are there, serving, protecting, and defending us in selfless acts of compassion and duty.
I've been with EPD just coming up on 5 years, always looking for an opportunity to do something new every day. This coronavirus has really put a spin on things as far as the businesses being shut down, downtown Eugene. This is where I work. There's a huge lack of people down here right now. It's a very surreal experience. Never seen it before in my career. This is the first for everyone.
In my 8 years of law enforcement here, I've never seen anything quite like this before. It's pretty unique. Throughout my training in law enforcement, we've trained very thoroughly on visible threats that we can see, that we can hear. This new invisible threat is new, and it's scary.
I put on this uniform every day and I come to work for 10 hours or 10 plus hours a day. And then I always joke around with the people I interact with out here, with my coworkers, that, you know, my second job starts when this uniform comes off and I go home to be a wife, to be a mom. My priorities are my family. They are a huge motivating factor to do things safely out here so I can get home.
You know, I'm taking a risk and kind of minimizing and separating my family from that. But with this new virus, their risk just increased tenfold.
Right now, it's challenging because there are a few people that we have come into contact with who know that coughing and sneezing is definitely cause for alarm.
We've had custodies pretend to have coughs, and they appear to be fine and not having any symptoms. And then once we take them into custody, they start saying, well, I've had a fever and I've had flu-like symptoms and a dry cough.
We mask up, we glove up, and we put our iPro on and do everything we possibly can, but it does pose some different challenges for us to be safe and stay healthy out here. We do have a job to do, and unfortunately that job requires us to be closer than 6 feet. It's hard to explain that to somebody who just sees what we're doing at face value. I would like to write fewer tickets or make fewer arrests, and I wish I could rescue kittens from a tree and give this different viewpoint to the average citizen, but we do have a job to do out here, and I would love to have people view us as just humans out here trying to do good. But it is challenging because there's a lot of people that just cannot get past this.
I do feel that the business owners downtown and some of the general population are supporting us because we are out and about in this pandemic. We, as police officers, can't self-isolate. We can't stay at home. We still have to come out here and make sure our community and its businesses are safe. And we've had some really good, kind citizens come forward and give us some donations in terms of like care packages and food. And that's all helped with morale. I wanted to help people. I wanted to serve my community, and I don't regret it. There are some days that make it a little harder than others to serve in this manner, but I don't regret it at all, and I hope to continue this for the rest of my career.
It's just being a presence out here and being that comfort for our community, put some minds at ease that when things are so uncertain right now, we are here for everyone, still willing to and ready to take on whatever call or activity comes our way.
Every day we pass them by, often unaware of their service and sacrifice. Fellow citizens and neighbors whose professional callings subject them to risks and dangers that we rarely see and far too often take for granted. During times of crisis, these husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, neighbors and friends must set aside their personal safety, leave their families, and put their duties and responsibilities over their own desires. While the vast majority of us have never faced the threats these officers encounter, we are safe because of them and humbled by them.
Quill has an amazing personality. He's just super lovey when he's not working, but when he is, he has great focus and drive, and just really loves to do the job so far, and we're looking forward to having a pretty good career with him.
You know, you've worked so hard training your dog, so just seeing him function in real life scenario stuff is going to be pretty exciting. And then, you know, just knowing the commands and, you know, confidence, and once you're calm and collected, he stays calm. Just as you get more experience, you get comfortable together.
When he's at home, he's just a dog. He likes to play ball. He loves to hang out with me and the family, and that's what we're looking for in these dogs, is that real sense of balance to them, where they can be social and then they can hit the switch and go to work when they need to.
Officers hired, 5 CSOs, and 3.5 dispatchers were part of the bridge funding. And what we decided to do is, with those 10 officers, is hire those new officers, get them trained, but build a street crimes unit with our existing staff.
So we're going to be able to go out and have the time to work the problem and get the appropriate resources to solve certain issues that the regular patrol officer may not be able to do.
And you can see them making a difference every single week in this community with the investigations they're handling and the problem houses they're addressing. So that bridge funding will take us through this next year, but there's a lot of work to be done between now and then.
And our job is to go out and work in the community, deal with prolific offenders, and help with these community impact cases to make Eugene a safer community as a whole.
Really what we're doing is we're kind of growing into the thing that we should be as a full-service 21st century police department. And so we can answer more calls for service, we can shorten our response times, and we can create capacity with our patrol officers to have more discretionary time so they can be in these neighborhoods before these types of problems get started.
Usually the athletes will be able to be out here, and all you have to do once is meet one of the athletes or hand out a medal to one of the athletes, and you're hooked for all the local Special Olympics do for the athletes here locally.
3, 2, 1.
They compete in tons of different events year-round, and this is one of the ways that we are able to provide money and raise money for the athletes who don't have to pay anything out of pocket. Everything is paid for them by the funds that are raised today. We absolutely love this event. We love coming out, showing our support, raising money, and it's just such a fun event. All you have to do is look around and just see what a great environment it is for the community, for the athletes, for the department. It brings really the community together.
once the relationship started, I allowed them to stay on the porch as a place to get out of the weather, and then one thing led to another, and we had quite a situation where too many people were coming to the church porch, and that's when I started working with Eugene Police Department and Officer Rager and Officer Hunt, and we developed a program, a pilot program, to see them have the privilege and ability to stay on the church porch in exchange for doing community service in the neighborhood, and it worked like gangbusters.
There was about 12 of us piled up on the porch.
I was there for probably at least 17 years on and off on that porch, close to 20 years.
He was fine with it as long as I was respectful to the church property and to the people around the neighborhood.
And the pastor had to come and do damage control.
He was accepting us, but yet that wasn't enough. He adopted us, you know, and he's one of the coolest guys I've ever met.
Well, he just said, "Hey, you gotta go, you gotta go. You can stay, you gotta go," and then he got us all put on a writ. Who could stay, who could go.
And basically we came together as a group. We told Gabe that we would help do repairs, keep the gardens at the church, and just try to keep the space looking as well and normal as possible. And therefore he was nice enough to agree to let us stay there.
Unfortunately, the church had to go up for sale, and so a big part of this project was, here we have this group that is amazing. They're willing to work, they're willing to do stuff. As of this last week, 2 of the individuals, we found them housing in an apartment complex. The other ones are now going to be living in microsites, so everyone in the group has a home.
And Square One has purchased this property and are using these pallet shelters from Lane County. And they have a system of outreach where they find unhoused individuals in the community that need shelter. They put them through a process of signing up, and then they get access to the shelter. And then another great part of their program is that they get access to a housing navigator who helps them create housing goals, so that this is just another step in their story.
That's what you're doing now? Yeah. Supposed to be building the small miniature houses for other houseless individuals. And then we get to build one for ourselves. And that's why I like that. You know, I want to build like 5 or 6 of them before I get one for myself.
I'm looking into applying for Social Security if need be, general assistance, and I've applied for 3 different housing agencies. And although those processes take a while, with this organization at least I'll be able to stay in this small pallet structure indefinitely up until I would be able to get my own place in my own apartment and have definite, stable, and permanent housing.
$321 in service.